Welcome back to Go With Us. This is Primal Groudon Raid Day. We're going to run through all of the details, discuss a quick counter guide, see if this thing is even good in Pokemon Go, and now we're going to say this, you just cannot miss this day. Just like last time, a good place to start. Groudon. Groudon is a ground-type legendary Pokemon originally coming from the Hoenn region. Groudon can evolve into its primal form, which is going to be Primal Groudon, which actually takes on a fire and ground typing as well, which is extremely powerful, and to evolve Groudon into its primal form, you're going to need 400 primal energy, and then a further 80 if you guys want to do that again. Let's see when Primal Groudon Raid Day is going to be happening. It looks like it's going to be taking place this Saturday, the 23rd of March, from 2 to 5 p.m. local time. On to the bonuses. It looks like there's going to be a total of 4. The first bonus is that Primal Groudon raids are going to be all over the map. We said this with Primal Kyogre Raid Day. Make sure to play in a condensed area where there's lots of gyms. You're not going to be sorry. There's community out there. It's really going to help. Bonus number 2 is that we're going to get 5 additional free raid passes on this day, which is, I think, awesome. Such a great bonus on this raid day. And remember, just like it was for Kyogre or any raid day for that matter, if you want to save up, during this World of Wonder season, we get 2 free extra daily raid passes per day. So if you don't do a raid the day before, which I believe is Friday, you should be able to do a total of at least 3 or 4 free raid passes on top of the 5 free that we get. So just like it was for Kyogre, take advantage of this. Bonus number 3 is that Groudon coming from these Primal Groudon raids have a higher chance of being shiny. Remember, that rate is going to be 1 in 10, so a huge chance of getting that Shundo. This day I'm going to go so hard. Come on, please, we gotta get it. And the 4th bonus is that the remote raid limit is gonna be increased to 20. And remember, that starts the day before on Friday at 5 p.m. and it ends on Saturday at 8 p.m. local time. So guys, use that time frame. If you want a remote raid, this is definitely the Pokemon to do it, and we're about to talk about why. But before we do that, let's talk about this event ticket. Just like it was for Primal Kyogre Day, these are the bonuses we're going to get if we purchase this ticket, which is going to cost a total of $5. The first bonus is that we can get an additional 8 free raid passes, which again takes this total to like 15, 16, or 17, depending on what you did the day before. Guys, this is really, really lucrative. To do all those raids could produce incredible results. This might just be worth your money. And bonus number 2 is that we can get increased XL candy when completing these raids, which is great. Bonus number 3 is that we can get 50% extra XP. So if you're running those lucky eggs, this could be super powerful. Don't sleep on that or overlook it. And lastly, we can get 2 times the Stardust when completing these raids. So always, for me, definitely worth this ticket. I think the big question everyone wants to know is this Primal Groudon going to be worth playing? Well, when breaking down these Pokemon, let's always start with his base stats. Now, just to start, this Pokemon has a max CP in its primal form of 6672. I'm going to stop right there. That is absolutely off the chain. It is monstrous. That is one of the highest CPs we've seen in Pokemon Go, so just already we've started off strong. It has an attack value of 353, which breaks into the top 6 or 7 currently in the game. It has a defense of 268, which breaks into the top 30, and it has a stamina of 218, which is in the top 200. We're gonna tuck into the details in a little bit, but guys, just off the bat, I can tell you for sure, this is gonna be one of the best Pokemon we've seen coming into the game, and that is gonna be incredible. But let's move on now to those 100% IVs, because that's what's gonna be important to know when rating this thing. The non-weather boosted 100% IV for Groudon is gonna be 2351, and the weather boosted 100% IV is gonna be 2939, and remember, that is gonna be in sunny weather only because of that ground and fire typing. When rating Primal Groudon, it's important to know the best way to take this thing down. Moving on to our counter guide now, we're going to discuss its weaknesses and what Pokemon are best to use. It is weak to 2 things. It is weak to ground, but it is double weak to water. The best counter you could possibly use, of course, is going to be that Primal Kyogre with that Waterfall and Origin Pulse combination, and the best Mega you could use is definitely going to be that Mega Swampert with that Water Gun and Hydro Cannon combination. The best Shadow Pokemon you could use is going to be that Shadow Swampert with that Water Water Gun and Hydro Cannon combination. You could even use Shadow Feraligatr, which is a bit of a spicy one. You could use again that Water Gun and Hydro Cannon combination, and we would even recommend using Shadow Gyarados with Waterfall, and I believe it's that Aqua Tail combination too. And finally, moving on to some budget counters, we would recommend using Gyarados with that Waterfall and Aqua Tail combination. You could again, of course, use that Swampert with the Water Gun and Hydro Cannon. You could use Feraligatr with the Water Gun and Hydro Cannon combination, and an honorable mention for Kingler with that Bubble and Crabapple combination. That can do some pretty good damage too. And now we've arrived at the answer to the big question we asked earlier. Is Primal Groudon going to be worth raiding, and is it worth your time? Well, let's take this back to the Hoenn Tour last year in early 2023. This day was really well received, but the big reason why this event was so huge was the naming of the 2 moves on the featured Pokemon, which is of course going to be Origin Pulse on the Primal Kyogre, but now that we're talking about Groudon, we're going to talk about Precipice Blades on Primal Groudon, which is of course a ground type move. Let's just say that Precipice Blades, in comparison with Groudon with the same moveset combination of Mudshot and Precipice Blades, it becomes 30% better. 30% better than that regular Groudon, which already, discussing its base stats, discussing its attack value, I can already tell you, without even looking at it, that this Pokemon is probably going to take the premier spot and the #1 attacker in the ground type category, and we could even move on to PvP as well, because Groudon is currently ranked 7th with that Fire Punch and Precipice Blades combination, so it just shows how strong the Groudon is there. But as a raid attacker, as we said earlier, Precipice Blades take Primal Groudon to the premier spot, and moving on to the fire category, it takes a spot in the top 3 because it has access to that Fire Punch. You could use Fire Blast, but Fire Punch is a legacy move, but it just puts out way more constant damage. And again, to break into that top 3, I think specifically because of the bulk and the solid DPS it puts out, this is such an impressive Pokemon, really powerful, and to even extend it into the grass type category, this Pokemon, I think it breaks into like the top 2 or 3, and as much as something like a Kartana, for example, it may hit a lot harder, but here's the thing, is that the bulk, it's really the bulk about Primal Groudon which really makes this thing shine. If you compare it to Kartana, for example, I think it has almost double. It has double the bulk value that this Pokemon has. And we know in raids, because there's going to be a few of us in the lobby, we really want our Pokemon to survive the longest. This is why Primal Groudon takes the top spot. This is one of the best Pokemon in the game. As we said in the beginning, this is a day you just cannot miss, guys. We're gonna go so hard. I don't know how many I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna push for that Shundo. Let's hope I get it. But yes, guys, you know the deal. Go with us. We've got Shadow Mewtwo as well coming next weekend. March has been an absolute bomb, let's be 100% honest, but we're gonna leave it there. Go with us, you know the deal, as we said, and we'll see you on the next one, baby.